Day 3, Legendary Difficulty, Battle of Gettysburg, and I have almost 90,000 men, it says. Everyone doesn't show up, obviously. But the enemy has 10,000. I don't know if he gets any reinforcements, but what's going to happen here is he's going to charge. And what I do is I command my units by division to take up a straight line. And I think I only leave 2 units in these crappy fortifications. These fortifications are death traps, as most all fortifications are, so you want to get out of those. And I do get out of them. And so I think I just do 1st Corps, 1st Division, 2nd Corps, or 1st Corps, 2nd Division. And then, yeah, I built these guys to be able to, most of them have, the 1st Division has more infantry than artillery. Usually they're infantry heavy to hold some kind of take up space on the map. But then 2nd and 3rd Division should be 3 infantry and 3 artillery. And that is a perfect configuration for this battle. And I have 1 division that is 6 guns, just 6 artillery. And if I had it to do again, I would put the 6 guns further to the north because his south just completely is destroyed. I just roll over him. So I cut out some of the issuing orders part, and pretty much guys go where I want them to, and it works out great. So, and I move them by division. And I know that there's no reason at all why keeping divisions together should cause fewer casualties. So, but, I lost 2 officers in the Battle of Gettysburg. And I think, if I keep my divisions together, now it's just anecdotal, but I don't lose officers. I know it has to do with taking losses that are unusually high, like a percentage of the unit size. Losses that are a high percentage of the unit size is more likely to trigger a check for the unit commander, and if you trigger a check for the unit commander, there's a check for the division commander. So keeping units in cover, and I do, I keep units in good cover, keeping them out of water, keeping them on the high ground. All of those things are things that really affect if you get a die roll for wounded or dead officers, and are backed up by what we know how the algorithm works, but still. So he is going to charge. This is the legendary. The difference between here on Major General was boring because he just stood out there and got shot with artillery. On legendary, he charges, and he gets into melee. I didn't think he would make it all the way to my line. I thought he would break, but no, he gets into melee, and I think that's great. And the thing about legendary, he doesn't care that he's outnumbered 10 to 1. He doesn't, well, yeah, 8 to 1. He doesn't care. He's going to charge. Yeah, somehow there's not room for that infantry unit. It's just a little crowded, and I don't feel like moving the whole line. And then I think about it, he only has 10,000 men. So the cav unit is there to give me spotting. My artillery is starting to all walk on each other. So I want most of my artillery in the south. I don't need all this artillery in the south because I want it to kind of sweep around the enemy right flank. How many times do I do that? Sweep around the enemy right flank, and then all this artillery will be on the enemy flank as he charges into toward the victory location. However, I don't really think he's going to charge all the way across that field. I think he's going to do what he's doing right now, which is walk up, take some shots, and fall back. That's not the case. This is a legendary. Every other level of difficulty, yeah, he would walk up, take some shots, and fall back. He's going to charge. He just has to get his units organized, and it takes him a while to do that. In the meantime, I have plenty of time to kill everything that's on the south edge of the map and walk around to his flank. Now, I don't want to end the battle. I want to go to day 4 because he gets reinforcements, and I want to kill those guys too. So yeah, this is, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I just love that artillery storm. Now I have visibility of his artillery. So every long-range gun I have, and I have a bunch of long-range guns, are going to open up on these guys at range. The 6-pound rifles, I do have some 10-pound Parrots here. The 10-pound Parrots, not many. Large number of 20-pound Parrots. If I have a James somewhere, I think I have 2 James. Whitworths. I'm playing this just at normal speed, and I don't think I hit pause very often, so I should really hit pause and direct all my long-range guns, but I don't. You know, if I hit pause, I could make sure they had the range, because you have to check. I'm not using Pandakraut's mod, and I will be next time. That gives the easy-to-see range indicators, and yeah. So without his mod, what you have to do is you have to make sure that your units all have the range to hit the target, or they will start moving closer to the target. And yeah, you can find your 6-pound rifle just moving across the map, leading a charge all by its lonesome if you do that. So yeah, we're rolling up his right flank, and we're going to have, again, I don't want to take the victory location, but we are going to have a lot of artillery firing on the flank of his charge. And he is going to charge, which is pretty cool. So yeah, a whole bunch of artillery firing at his artillery unit, just tearing it up. That was a very fast death for him. Yeah, I think he's got nothing, and I can pretty much ignore the rest of the line as I get these guys on, get these guys in position. But what he's actually doing is he's actually getting the numbers in place that he wants to be able to launch his attack. And as soon as he gets them in place, he's going to attack. Yeah, I'm watching his little tiny units just take a beating. I'm going to move my 24-pound howitzers up to the front line. As I'm watching this would be a lot more intense if he could get all of his infantry to attack together, but he can't do that. The AI is not capable of it. So what you end up with is the enemy attacking like he is, kind of piecemeal, which allows 3 or 4 of my infantry to fire at one of his units, and then the next unit comes up. But if he could do that from the beginning of the campaign would be over quick. If the AI could do that, could move in formation and attack in mass against a point on the line, you couldn't stop him. And there'd be no reason to have legendary difficulty, for example. The game would be on legendary difficulty on Brigadier General. Yeah, I decided to turn all the supply wagons off. There's no reason. Just let the artillery and the infantry blast away for free. And checking my units to see if they have plenty of ammo. They do. Yeah, I needed to hit pause and make sure everybody got moving. But I'm just playing along on regular speed. Yeah, he got into melee. Wasn't paying attention. He got into melee and did a job. Good for him. And I popped detached skirmishers. And yeah, I had tons of supporting fire. And I'm checking the losses of that unit. Okay, he's lost 200 and killed 600 and something. So, and now he's down to nothing. So I don't want to get too close to the victory location, but I see the supply wagon. Yeah, his units are very small, so I'm going to move some infantry up and take some shots on him and wipe him out. Yep, he's gone. Yeah, I moved forward, and that triggered his advance of his units. Pretty amazing. Okay, I do not want to take the victory location, but I would like to take the supply wagon. Go ahead and charge. 2 seconds, 1 second. He's almost there. He's going to get it, and denied. Yep. He's down to 6,000. I think there's a reinforcements actually that came in. And I'm here to replace my lost officers. And I can't believe I don't have any lost officers. I have a pretty big officer pool in reserve. So, yeah, shuffle around some ammo. Not that it's really all that necessary. So my cav came in the south. My tiny little 500-man units with Lorenzes came in the south. I have a whole division of those guys. I have a division of rifle cav and 2 melee cav units, and they just get their butts kicked by these 3-star units. Take a shot from this 3-star unit and route. My melee unit was going to try to get into melee, insta route. So yeah, I just get my butt kicked by these guys. So run away, get the infantry to provide waves of support. So try to recover my cav. I have like 10 units of cav, and they just get, all of them just get their butts kicked by his 2 units of very, very good cav. So he has Lamottes, of course. And he has, his rifled cav has very good rifles, and he has Lamottes for his melee cav. So, yeah, I can't. I mean, these green units of 500 infantry, it's going to take 6 of them to, like, just contain these guys. He could probably just run straight over, I'm not talking ghost cav, I'm talking about he could just run over top of my units. So I have the rest of my army, I put them on, division formation to get in the general position I want them to be, but I want to kill these guys before I do anything. So I'm going to kill these guys, focus on this, because these guys are really dangerous. Last thing I want is them running around in the back of my army. So Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 units, and we're going to make sure that we trap these guys. Fortunately, he went to the south and not to the north, and we're just going to trap him. And we have, this is actually exactly how Doctrine says you're to surround an enemy force and destroy it, and that is layers of defense. So, yeah, who knew that an infantry officer would, unconsciously do exactly Doctrine? So, I have layers of defense. If he gets through the first line, there's the second line. He gets through the second line, there's the third line. And notice I have a green unit that could benefit from getting some XP and getting his first star, and I'm pretty sure he does. And I have another unit that has no star, and so I'm going to get him up, and hopefully he'll get a few kills. I think about getting my melee cav into the battle, but I have no skill with melee cav, I just am terrible. They have been really useless, not because melee cav is useless, but because I'm useless with them. And fortunately, the rest of my army got the XP. So yeah, my rifled cav, I love the rifled cav. Absolutely love it. There's so much opportunity. I think they need to operate in pairs, and there's so much good work they can do. Spotting, they're tremendous. Picking up supply wagons, of course, they're good. Getting on the enemy flank, though, and putting in shots. And it's not the 59s, they're not the best weapon. It's actually all the expensive specialty weapons are just golden. And yeah, they are really, really useful. And I've heard other people say that melee cav is good in the early game, but not very useful late game. I don't know why I'm going to use the melee cav. I think and I have a corps commander that has all the cav perks, so maybe it is on legendary because he has Lamotte's and 3 stars. All his units are 3 stars. They're just so outclassed. You're going to lose. I don't know. But whatever it is, his cav is really good, and my cav is really good when they're dismounted and firing, but they're really bad when they get in melee with his melee cav. They just get torn up. And yeah, so okay, sometimes the enemy will hide on the right side of that river. A couple of cav units over there. Look how aggressive he is. Man, his cav is just very, very aggressive. And I really want these 24-pound howitzers to be online. He has a couple of cav units over there, and they're very dangerous. So what you need to do, I mean, I know that there's, like 10,000 units on the map, and it's hard to control them all, which is why moving by division is a whole lot easier than moving individual units at this point. But you really need to move the infantry just a small distance. The artillery provides overwatch, and then move the artillery 1 unit at a time into a supporting position. And it's just for this. I do hit pause here to get my cav out of the way. His cav will just, tear me up, and I put it back to slow motion. He's charging here. I charge the enemy. I think he actually gets the better of that melee. except he takes some losses, and I put in some supporting fire, and he's dead. But I think the melee itself, he actually killed more than I did. Yeah, if his cav is going to come in, I want him to hit these little 500-man units with who have Lorenzes, and they're very good with Lorenzes. They have range, they have accuracy, and I want my cav to be in support. Because he walks up and hits any of my cav, he's just going to inflict a lot of damage and make it rout, including my melee cav, which he's just going to kick the tar out of. So yeah, we're just going to hit him with overwhelming numbers if we get a chance. But otherwise, we're just going to hit him with volleys of infantry fire. Now, if he gets into melee with one of my scrub infantry, that's perfectly fine. He's going to win that, but I'm going to put in all kinds of supporting fire. He's going to rout and take a lot of losses, and he's not going to be able to do that very many times. Okay, here he comes. Yeah, he doesn't get into melee. That's interesting. Yeah, he gets away. So what I want is a solid line of infantry so he can't get his cav behind my, because you know he will. He will try to get behind your lines and then attack the objective. Yeah, I actually have two very good sniper units there, and it's just not worth the micromanagement time. Yeah, and at this point, he's kind of completely blocked off, and as soon as the artillery gets up, his position is, well, I mean, it's just some cav. All you have to do is corral it. There's my artillery division. I really like that artillery division. Yeah, I need to wait until my artillery gets up in support. Yeah, again, the whole trick is get the artillery up in support and do it that way. Okay, he's only 500. We're going to hit him from all kinds of angles. And he has artillery. I really should hit pause and get all my artillery firing on this guy. His infantry's dead, so we can just advance on his artillery and maybe kill it. Yeah, everyone is firing his artillery. and his number's just dropping. He's not going to last very long. Yeah, notice how he recovers in about 2 decimal seconds, man. He falls back, recovers, attacks again. So yeah, the so I don't know what to do with my melee cav. I might keep one unit. I can give one unit Lamott's, and he might do better. And then maybe, if I don't want to buy vets, let him just bleed down. The other thing I can do, and I've been thinking about it, is there is a way to just keep adding veterans to your army for free, and that is to take all of the raw recruits and put them into just ballast units, 2,500 man units, just to get the raw recruits out of the manpower pool, which I can do. I have plenty of weapons to do that, and after Gettysburg, I'll have plenty of weapons to do that, and then disband and reform your good units into full-size units, and that way you don't lose any efficiency. You don't have to put any raw recruits. You will lose some units doing that, so you're compressing your units. So instead of having 10 2-star units, you'll have 8, and instead of having 20, and you have to do it by unit type. So you have to do this completely by unit type, and it takes a while. It takes maybe hours to do this, but it might be worth it in this case. So yeah, I mean, it's just so much easier to add raw recruits, and I have done this in a couple of campaigns where I just keep disbanding and reforming units, and it does work. Your units just keep going up in efficiency. The other thing you can do is if you disband, say, my artillery, I have 4 or 5 3-star units, and I can merge them in with maybe 3 2-star units. They all come out of it 3 stars. Now I don't think the third perk is all that great, but you have, you take your 2-star units and basically turn them into 3-star units. So, okay, here we are. Total losses. What did I lose? 9,300 after medicine. Enemy lost 67,650. I think ATS came in and the enemy had over 100,000 men, so your mileage may vary. Take a look at the enemy. The enemy, his best unit was an artillery unit, killed 600, then infantry. My best unit got 4,778. The Irish Brigade, 3,633. Then another 61 got 3,140. Yeah, 24-pound howitzers then at 2,800. 20-pound Parrott, almost 2,000. Irish Brigade, 1,700. He sat out a lot of the first day. He was defending Gettysburg itself for a long part of that, which is why he got lower numbers. Devon's Cav, the Allied Cav, did a great job. Yeah, I didn't expect him to do that well, but they, did really well. I'm going to dedicate most of his Cav to the left flank in the next battle, or half of it or something. So yeah, I added up I added up the units that got one perk, units that got the perk in firing rapidly, whatever that is, firearms, firing rapidly. They got 3.5 to 1. Of course, they were lower quality and they had Enfields and 55s. And my best units had the marksmanship perk, which increases accuracy, but you fire slower. They got almost 6 to 1. But part of that is, all my good troops were on day one. It was a slaughter. Many of them had 61s. The rest of them had Harper's Ferries. That's better than the Enfield and the 55. So what I'm going to do now is the next batch of 2-star units are going to get the accuracy perk, and I'm going to compare in grand battles how guys do. Look at these promotions. On Legendary, man, you get a lot of promotions. Yeah. He has CS Richmonds and Fayettevilles. The Fayettevilles are worth a pile of cash. He gives me more 10-pound parrots. I think I have 90 in inventory just in my store that are purchased just sitting there. 90 10-pound parrots complete. I should sell them. Not counting the ones that are in the army. He had some 24-pound howitzers. He had the Whitworth sniper weapon. Captured some of those. I don't think I'll get enough to use. He had Lamottes. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm stunned he has the Whitworth, but okay. So another 2-star. And I'm thinking about what perks to give that Enfield that it has his second perk. And I thought about it now for a day, and I'm going to give people, once again, marksmanship and see if the lower level marksmanship units do better than the units that I gave the firearms perk to on average. So all these artillery units got a perk. That's nothing but terrific. Yeah, that general got a promotion because he was only a 1-star at best. So yeah, I can move I have a bunch of 1-stars. I can move another 1-star in there. The other guys are just fine, I'm sure, with colonels. The Lorenzes are there. They'll be good ballast units. And probably if I give them a colonel, they'll have 1-star, which will be fine for Richmond. Probably that'll be the next time we see them. I don't think they come in before that. So I'm just checking all of these are going to be able to replace their losses with just raw recruits if I want to. Yeah, see, raw recruits. 14,000. I do the math on this, and the best option is once again to get the money, and not by much. It's like $50 extra per perk if you divide it dollars per perk. He gets 38,000 men, but he lost 67, so he goes down quite a bit. In manpower, he's down 46, and he lost 10 in training, so that's great. The Fayettevilles are worth almost $150,000. Going to keep the CS Richmonds. You don't get any more Harper's Ferries. Look at that. Tyler's are great. I take back everything I said. I don't think I'm going to get enough Whitworths for it to matter. And I'm going to keep the Lamottes. I'm going to give that to my mismanaged and badly used melee cav and see if just giving them better weapons will compensate for my poor skill level. So, yeah, more 20-pound parrots, more 24-pound howitzers, 90 10-pound parrots, that's $135,000. So between the Fayettevilles and the 10-pound parrots, that's quite a pile of money. As little as I'm putting into training, I really should just go into politics, because I'm just not buying vets. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next battle.